probably take some time to come. So not to waste time. I've one infallible way of starting these sort of sessions, which is, as you might guess, feet on the ground, bottom on the chair. Just listen, just look. We always think we are doing these things until you actually try to focus a little bit more than usual. And we realize that we sort of feel our feet on the ground with about 1% of our attention. And similarly, we look and listen with about 2 or 3% of our attention. But to really look, I mean, if you can really imagine it, if we really looked, would we not see the heavenly glory? Well, that's maybe speculation, but Jesus several times said, "You have eyes, but we see not, and ears that we hear not." And of course, there are these sort of eyes and these sort of hearing aids, but actually, this is only the beginning of the journey, isn't it? What about this mysterious word, insight? And hearing with the eyes, with the ears. Hearing, where does hearing end? Listen to the music of the stars. It was a wonderful demonstration this morning, wasn't it? Early morning. Did you remember to look up at the stars? Some of us did. Did you, dear? Didn't even think about it. There they were, all that glory, heavenly glory shining up there. We didn't even look at it, did we? But right here and now, you can listen to the sounds, can't you, of my voice and a little thinking of cups and things downstairs. Listen to the traffic outside. And then there's a magical little word that I use so much, beyond. Try to listen beyond that. Beyond and beyond. If we look at each other's eyes, deep into each other's eyes, all of us look at each other's eyes, and deeper and deeper and deeper. Where do the eyes end? Look into that light. You understand, don't you? Great. We all know, really, don't we? It's not unknown to us. We don't often do it. I really don't need to say anything else this morning, do I? Everything you need to know is there, isn't it? The eyes are often clouded, aren't they? Occasionally you get a really clear view.
Hot chocolate
This one, yeah.
and cappuccino.
Yes,
Mm.
Thank you.
What are we having, Dave?
An Indian chai, I think you wanted.
Indian chai, did it? Yeah. Right. Really, the whole essence of what we call the work is really just this, in which we just try to let go. I remember once asking, well, what do we let go? And the answer came back, of let go whatever you can let go of. That really consists of everything we're holding on to, doesn't it? So we're totally open like that. And that really is listening and looking, isn't it? It's being totally accepting of what is there. Because so often our listening and looking is subtly covered, is subtly impeded, you could say, by thinking about it, accepting or not accepting it. Sort of instinctively we are attracted or repelled by things. But just to be totally open like that. To look without judgment. There was something on the news this morning that made me really squirm. I thought I just couldn't bear it. And I sort of saw, well, that's in me, isn't it? Judging it. True or false? Well, some people believe it's true and some say it's false. God knows. Who will judge? We're told that God will judge, aren't we? Now these mornings depend very much really on if any of you have questions, because I don't really have a prepared speech or anything like that. I know there are one or two unanswered questions that are somewhere there inside you. So
You mentioned the judging God there. Is that, and we hear about a loving God and a judging God, are they two different teachings or is it the same in some sense?
well, we're told to love God, aren't we? We're not told to judge God. We're told to trust God, that God is the judge. And what, in fact, is the judgment, dear? Is it something up in the sky, or is it right here and now? Look what happens. If I drop that on the table, it makes a noise, doesn't it? Isn't that judgment? If I say something stupid and offensive, won't your eyes all cloud? And if I say something warm and inviting, won't you respond? Isn't that perfect judgment? Cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Cause and effect. There's nothing difficult about it, is it? We all understand what's meant by that. If we live one sort of a life, something happens. If we lead another, the consequences are different, aren't we? Isn't that God's perfect judgment, the will of God? Is there anything in this world that isn't the result of cause and effect? Isn't that exactly what the world is? Let's trace that one back, because as far as we know, what's sort of the beginning of it all? In the scriptures we're told that God made the world and saw that it was good. And we think of that as paradise. There was man, singular, in paradise. And then the story is that we fell, didn't we? We disobeyed a basic commandment and fell. We've been falling in consciousness ever since. And the result is that we are not in paradise. Just to keep it simple, we've all got problems, haven't we? We think we've got problems. In paradise, there are no problems. In deep meditation, we may get a glimpse of this. We may transcend the world. And we don't really know what happens, but at least there are no problems, are there? And we come back and pick them up again, back into the world of problems, of separation. So even before, the first cause really is that we're separate, we're absent from the presence of God. So we feel separate, so we start trying to compensate for our separation. And that's called desire, isn't it? We desire a companion, a partner, and then we desire other things because we feel incomplete. When in that state of higher consciousness in meditation, we don't feel incomplete, do we? We may even come out of it feeling complete, inexplicably complete. And for that blessed moment, you don't want anything, you are content. We fall a bit further down into separation, and immediately springs desire. Desire leads to cause and effect. And this is what we call karma, isn't it, or sanskar, because this goes far back into, as far back as, that's it, as far back as when anyone can, history or anything can tell us. Long sequence of cause and effect, the working out of what the scripture may call karma. And so our lives are determined, so we are the shape and size and colour, and we talk the way we talk.
This masala shake. Extra masala shake. Flat white. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thank you.
But the one ever-present feature of this karma is it has a beginning and an ending. It is measured by space and time. So when we meditate and let go, we may discover this immeasurable, but indescribable, we know not what, because it's beyond even human knowledge. But yet, it's complete, isn't it? It's complete. And it's not so far away from us, just round the table now, is it? You don't really need my words, it's already complete. This burbling of my voice is just really hopefully sort of keeping you more or less focused. It's self-evident, isn't it? God is with us. And all the action in the world doesn't affect it, does it? This everlasting reality, this unshakable reality is ever present. I am with you, always. Now, Jill, you've got a little frown on your face, dear.
Well, it's partly because of the sun, but also I was reflecting on what you're saying and just feeling that for me, I know that God is present. But I know that God is present intellectually.
Yes, that's the point. Yes, darling.
But experientially.
Yes. Yes, this
And
take.
that's where but my heart can open in meditation and
right.
in nature and things, but to experience that oneness, the unity,
It needs a
is
little more
beyond.
practice,
It
dear.
needs a lot.
A
I feel
little
it's a
more
lifetime.
practice, a little more practice. That's right. At the moment, it's just momentary. You get glimpses of it, don't you? That's right. That's how it is for all of us,
But
dear.
tiny glimpses.
Yes, just tiny little glimpses, but that's enough, dear. It's like a trail of sugar, isn't it? Trail of sweetness. This is how I remember long, long ago when I was in the school of meditation, how it was described, dear, like a trail of sugar. And that's what ants do. Ants will follow a trail of sugar until they find the sugar mountain. And you're just like a little ant, sweetie, like we all are.
Be like an ant.
Following this trail of sugar.
Because that was one of the other questions that I wanted to ask you actually, was to, if you can, and if that's okay with everybody, to talk a little bit about your time in the School of Meditation. I mean, what happened there? What did you get from it?
This, dear, exactly this that I'm sharing with you. I used to have to pay a lot of money because I had my first farm here in Bakewell, and I had to go all the way to London just to be told this, just nothing, just to sit in a room of people. And I used to think, what on earth have I spent all this money and wasted a day coming to London just to hear this?
So did you meditate together? I mean, was there a group? Was there groups of you?
Well, there was, but I was never too keen on that. Yeah, I wasn't. Some people valued that a lot. I never did really very much. Some people need it more than others, I think, in company. Others meditate happily on their own.
So you would sit around and you'd talk to.
Well, there was a tutor, it was very much just like this setup now. There was a tutor there, and he often had a blackboard, drew simple pictures and things, simple diagrams. A very common diagram was you just draw a simple triangle on the board, you see. And because this law of three, the Christian Trinity, is absolutely fundamental. Not everyone understands it, but it's actually as simple as pie. It's you see, you and I are talking here, like the two lower,
Yeah.
you know, the plus and minus of the triangle. But you see, there's a third point, isn't there? Now, this third point, of course, is, describe it many ways, this presence, this stillness. Or you can think of it as an eye, the eye of God, you see, watching this seesaw of the world. this duality of the world. This is duality, which is another word for separation of cause and effect and karma. All these things are really two, aren't they? One or the other, and it's all taking place within, which we can all do, and we're all doing it to some extent now. This awareness of this one completion. So the duality is actually complete within. The separation of duality is actually complete if we opened our eyes, if we opened our eyes and our hearts to this higher reality, you then see that all the duality of the world is actually perfectly contained. The inharmony is contained in a greater harmony, the imperfection in imperfection. The discord within peace, eternal peace. And it's simply a matter of opening up, you see, opening the little cocoon of our shrunken consciousness into this greater awareness of what is already here. There's nowhere else, darling. It's not up in the sky or tomorrow. It's here now. God is with us. And it isn't, as you rightly, it's not thinking about it, because thinking remains in this realm of duality. Thinking is duality, isn't it? You're always thinking about something, weighing it up, and, because here, the mind's actually still, isn't it? There's no thinking. You leave all that behind.
You mentioned yesterday to me about how death is sin and sin is death.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you could talk more about that. Do you mean then that
Sin is death.
that because I'm fascinated in the Bible, in the beginning, in the Old Testament, they all seem to live till 500 years old. Is that, if there was no sin within us, do you think that is real, that we would then live longer? Is that what you mean?
Well, dear, if you ask me what I think, I'll not answer you, because I don't trust my thoughts. I don't know about your answer about will we lived 500 years. I don't know, but I just ask you to realize that here now, in this changing world of time and space, just come into this, recognize this higher third point. Just take a moment just to recognize, realize in your own experience this stillness. Your eyes are blinking in stillness. Or mine. Silence, stillness, space. Where does one end and the other begin? Or are they all the same? Silence. We're drinking a cup of tea in perfect silence, in perfect stillness, in space, in unlimited space. Isn't it true? Do you recognize it? You're not sure. Just try it again. Just try to hear my sounds of my voice. Listen beyond it, into the silence. Just look at the table, dear. Here is, the table is still, isn't it? The ground beneath your feet is still, isn't it? And there's action going on downstairs, here, held in the stillness of the floor, held on the stillness of the floor. And if you go outside, hear the noise, then just lift consciousness up through the clouds into the sky. Isn't the sky still? Does the sky change? Think of the sky over the Ukraine. Isn't the sky still and at peace? Perfect peace. If all the bombs in the world were exploding, does it affect the peace of the sky? Or the stillness of Mother Earth? All the aggro and upset of humanity, isn't it held within this greater peace, in silence, stillness, space? What else? What else? How else could we describe it? Freedom,
Love.
love,
Peace.
Spirit.
peace,
Spirit.
spirit. Isn't that what it is? Isn't silence just a sort of first step into spirit? And does that change in this world of change? No. You realize it. When you realize it becomes real, doesn't it? And when this reality gradually becomes more accustomed to you and enters into your heart, into your very being, and you begin to live there in this greater reality, and you can share it with your friends. Now that's service, that's real service. That's the gift, isn't it? The gifts of gifts. It just needs practice, dear. Practice, practice. How am I able to sit here and even talk about this still? Simply because I've lived a long life. I've had many years of practice. I was taught this when I was 26. Well, I started learning it when I was 26. Over 60 years ago, it's just practice, dear. And we're all just in that, in this school of practice. All of us concerned, just as I was as a young man, how to help, what can I do to, what am I meant to be in this world, what's my purpose in this world, what am I here for? And gradually this began to become apparent, and all the other answers to life that I thought, gradually appeared not ineffective, but somehow less effective. They were temporal, weren't they? They had a temporal beginning and ending. But this is eternal and unfailing.
Is the silence practice separate from the mantra practice, or is the mantra practice a gateway into silence?
Well, again, going back to what I was taught many years ago, there are two aspects to meditation called the inner practice, where we usually follow a mantra if that's what we're using, and then the outer, which is really listening and looking, being aware, or what's fashionably called these days mindfulness, just being aware. And actually what we discover inwardly, you then begin to realize, is the same as outward, because we find this space that is within, all this rest to some extent as we begin to let go. Then you discover Good heavens, it's here as well. So there's really no difference.
John, I see practice as remembering, and you once touched on the subject, the miracle of remembering, and that's kind of how I see it. So if I was to act in a way which I found needed my own forgiveness, and I need to resolve my own, bring myself back, I have to remember to reach back to peace, back to faith, back to this thing, the thing you're talking about. My question really is that when we forget, is there a kind of a sweet spot of, is it just repetition of remembering that reinforces you, encourages you, you lean into it? Where's the tipping point where you remember to lean back into it? Because it's like you forget, and then you're suffering, and then you carry on suffering because you believe in the suffering. And then you remember, but sometimes you can't remember what you're trying to remember.
No. No, exactly, dear. Exactly. Well, when we forget, we're lost, aren't we? Lost sheep. No, no. What can you do? Well, this is where discipline comes in. And remembering. I remember as a young man when I began to sort of get this message, I had little cards all over the house trying to jog my memory. I still kept on forgetting. We do. Because this is the world we live in, the world of... it's interesting. What is the word forgetting? Look, I've got something in my hand. I've got a name called John. I've got a little flat down the road. This whole world, its nature is forgetting, isn't it? So we're conditioned, totally conditioned to this world of forgetting. Whereas actually, this, just come back to this third point, you see. It's available when we forgive, isn't it? This is forgiveness, isn't it? Let go is another way of describing it. But we need reminders. Why else do I plod up the hill twice a day? What I forget? The world crowds in, doesn't it? Discipline, dear. That's why we're told. That's why I was told very firmly. Meditate twice a day. I've been doing it ever since. I can't give you better advice. Just be diligent in your practice. Twice a day, sit down and meditate. Or practice some sort of prayer or something that puts you in this direction. And as often as we remember, you can't do more than that, can you? It's only when you remember that you can put it into practice. But the more you practice, the more often you will remember. I don't think there is a point, Michael, when... I know some people have instant enlightenment, dear, but I've never met anybody, and I'm not that one like that. I think for most of us it's a long, long plod through many weary years of failure. Discipline. Fight the good fight.
Can I ask you what your grounding was?
What am I?
Your grounding, John, before say you were 26, which drew you into meditation and to learn meditation. But what was, in a way, there before that put you in that direction? Was it your family or?
I do count one of the blessings of my life. I was brought up in the country. So silence was born before the war, dear. Just imagine back when farming was farming. More horses than tractors, clip-clop, clip-clop. Slow. Life was much slower pace. Work was done by hand. It was quiet hand work with a hoe or something in the field. I spent most of my early life alone out in the open fields. They're second nature to me. So I count that as one of the greatest blessings of my life. I worked as a farmer, worked alone in the fields. So space and silence and stillness are very natural to me. And when I had to go to London to learn meditation, I was, I felt, in my young man's pride, very superior to those Londoners with all mixed up people. I can hardly believe that they talk about the difficulties of being still. Interesting, isn't it? How the earth under our feet is still, but we're not aware of it. Mother Earth is always there, supporting us. She's never not there, is she? Yet we don't notice her.
I'm going to have to do another little interjection here, because my sister, my dear sister, who's pretty much blissing out every day on meditation at the moment, she was doing a therapy course for counselling, and she released some stuff, did some confessing, and felt a million times lighter, and she's been on fire ever since. And it's a delight to be around her. She's got the thing going on, and she asked me to. She said she was burning with questions. She said, "Could you ask John? Let me know how the questions go. I want to know how his practice has changed over the years, and what he feels the gifts are from meditating compared to when he started, and did he ever struggle with practice at all?"
That's some questions in one now. To answer the last question first, yes, of course I did.
Yes, the last question, yes.
Of course I did. I was a busy young man, of course I did. Other things seemed more important. Yes, of course I did. But I was pretty good. I wanted to meditate. That really, they say, is the only requirement, that we should want it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But so it's if people want it, really want it. And again, I'll tell you a bit, because when they asked me to go for a preliminary interview, all the way to London for an interview, which I did, and in a little office in Soho, there was rather an embarrassed man, I felt, said, "What do you really want in life?" I suggest you all just ask yourselves that question. What do you really, really want in life? You don't need to answer it unless you want to. You can share it. What do you really, really, in your deepest heart, want? Remember what I said. I said God. think I was a bit surprised that's what came out, but it is what came out. I suppose that's right, really. I mean, it hasn't been consistent. You know, wanted all sorts of things. Wanted a farm, wanted a girl, wanted everything that, you know, anybody wants. Of course, one forgets. It's quite useful to remind yourself from time to time, or ask yourself that question. What one really wants. It's usually something pretty big, isn't it? Who knows what God is? I don't know what God is. Maybe I thought I knew when I was young. Now I'm old, I'm quite sure I don't. It's still a word we use, isn't it? But to describe that we know not what. The infinite yearning for we know not what.
I think it's quite a good way for me. It's quite a good way for me to help define what God is for me. You want to be wrapped up in eternal love.
Well, if that serves its purpose, go along with that. Wrapped up in love. I think most of us would agree with that. To love and be loved. Without end. Love that never says no. Well, come back to this third point. Is this in the right direction? The eyes often speak louder than words, don't they? So, dear, that's the first. Now, come back and
Yes,
just
yes.
remind me again.
So let's go back to the beginning. I want to know how his practice has changed
Yeah,
over
all
the
right.
years.
Well, I suppose to begin with, like one or two of you are a little bit unsure of what I'm saying, sort of half believing it, but seems a little bit unreal, maybe. Well, so was I, dear. And of course, to begin with, as everybody experiences, the mind is full of thoughts, doesn't it? And you're introduced. Well, I was taught with a mantra. This is how I was taught. So I had my mantra, and I introduced it. And of course, you just think. You may remember a mantra for a while, and then you forget it, and you just sit there thinking. And this is how we all start to meditate. Occasionally the mind's a bit quieter, but usually it's more full of thoughts than anything else. Thoughts or feelings and various things. But if we listen to the mantra, sometimes the mantra seems stronger and seems to go deeper than at other times. We can't seem to control it very much. This is one of the strange discoveries. You can't sit down and decide, I'm going to have a good meditation. It doesn't seem to work that way.
Well, you can.
You can try.
That's a great way to have a bad meditation.
But sometimes quite unexpectedly, in the most under unusual circumstances, you seem to be wafted up like there, like an autumn leaf up into the sky. How does it happen? God knows. Well, there we are. We just have to keep practicing, dear, keep doing it. And gradually, with a bit of luck, we seem to get lifted up more often and stay there for longer, but it takes many years, dear. I've been doing it, just things, 61 years. It's a long time, isn't it? Twice a day, how many times is that? Lose count.
360,000 something.
Was it?
360,000 something.
Okay, that's quite a lot of reminders. More than you can get round your house.
36 something.
So a lot of post-it notes.
That's a lot of post-it notes.
I'm sure you haven't always sat for such a long time as I do now. This is just quite recent, really. But we started with quarter of an hour, night and morning, and then gradually 20 minutes, and then after a couple of years or so, I think it was half an hour. Half an hour was the usual. I think that is, in many traditions, the normal recommended period. But I think we were told at one point not to do more than half an hour. Because it's also very important, you see, to practice being in the world. It's very important to try to practice being mindful, being present in the world, in all the circumstances of life. It's very, very good exercise just to go and stand in the street on a busy day, on a busy market day, and just be still, and just practice stillness in the middle of a crowd. Or when you're in a conversation with people, just listen to silence in the midst of a babble of people talking. It doesn't half illustrate the point, you know. Extraordinary. I was a very shy young man, and I never knew what to say. So when I had parties and that, I always felt a failure, that I just didn't know what to say. And I was told at one time, when you don't know what to say nothing. And we were walking day before yesterday past that lovely Elizabethan house, weren't we, just after the Packhorse Bridge. And he was there one New Year's Eve, that I was feeling rather inadequate in a crowd of young people partying. And I remembered that. And I went and stood against the wall. When I don't know what to say nothing. And to my surprise, someone came up and started speaking to me. And I had a nice evening. But, it gave me such confidence. It rather changed mine. And I realized I could be quiet. There wasn't something to be ashamed of. I wasn't a failure if I just stood quiet. That actually, the presence of something quiet is actually quite appealing to some people. I'm not the only one that loves to be silent. I can't remember who it was. It must have been a girl came up to me. Yeah. That was a great discovery for me. It really was. And look at all of you lovely people. You're actually responding to this, aren't you? You're not saying I'm stupid, are you? Or why don't you say something? So, you see, now, what I call presence now, I didn't use that word for a long time, that was far beyond me, but silence. I've got used to it, yeah, I've grown confident in it. It isn't just something that existed out in the open fields. I always had to be escaping from people running back to my fields where I felt safe. If you read my books, you'll see that most of my early life has been spent in running away from society, going into the deserts or the mountains or somewhere where I felt I could access what I loved. But see, gradually, I began to realise that this was with me all the time. And I didn't become so dependent on the outer circumstances of life. So that was one of the effects of change.
It's beautiful.
And then gradually meditation became less a process of me trying to control my mind, really, but I suppose now, but this is after many, many years of practice, I feel taken, really. I miss what happened. I don't quite know, really. I don't know what happens in meditation, but I feel taken. Well, God knows, I do not. This leads on to the marvellous discovery. Again, it seems so simple to me now, but it's taken a long time. That, first of all, God knows, and I do not. And then, the less of me, the more of God. And I don't feel any regret for me at all, really. I think it's marvellous, like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. I've had a good life. I don't regret it. It's taught me a lot. But to be taken out of it is the best of all. It's absolutely super.
You used to have to take yourself to the fields, now you just sit down. You used to have to go to the fields,
That's right.
and now you get, taken. Yeah. Do you think there's an advantage to being somebody? Oh, I'm coming in with a question.
Yes, that's exactly well seen, dear. You're on a slippery slope, do you think?
Yeah.
By the way, I recalculated 45,000 times. That's how many times you meditated up and down there. In the last 61 years. Just under 45,000 times.
It's a canny shift. You do some holidays.
Yeah, it doesn't include the extra ones you've done during the middle of the day, so it could be up to 60,000 quite easily.
I have a poem that speaks to what you just said. I would like to share. Maybe some native English speakers can read it. Proper cadence and all of that.
No, she didn't give it to the Geordie. He wants a native English speaker. He asked for a native English speaker, and I said no. She didn't give it to the Geordie.
Oh dear, okay. In the world of appearances, the 10,000 things arise and vanish. Death is the price of birth. The sage is not immune. He finds himself in the world and does not mind. Joy and contentment fill his days. Beauty and perfection unfold with every step. His life is one of great good fortune. In the end, it will not be missed.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Thank you. I always like that poem.
Right, dear. Middle question.
Well remembered. And what he feels the gifts are now from meditating to compared to when he started.
Oh, well. You've really got the answer to that, haven't you?
Well, you said it really, haven't you? But you've
See.
taken them.
You know, very soon after I started to meditate, I was filled with missionary zeal. And I went straight off to the local bishop, because I thought this was just what the church was missing. This sort of I'd heard about the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, but I didn't know what it was. I had no real direct experience of it. It was all rather sort of just word, really. And very soon after I started to meditate, I got a sense of this silence, this infinite silence, this infinite presence. I thought, well, this is the Spirit. That's just exactly what it is. And meditation was a marvelous way of bringing it into practical realization. And so I went off with great confidence and wanted to become a priest to join the church. And actually I made, I think, 3 attempts at different periods of my life to do that. And none of them worked. They wouldn't have me. And now, you see, I don't have that missionary zeal at all. I was always trying to persuade people. I was going around saying the best thing you can do is meditate, and used to give talks and things on it, and advertise meditation. And now I completely trust this. We talked a bit about this, didn't we, dear, the other, as we walked down, that see, what is the prime motive in this world? What is the prime operative function? What is the prime operator, put it that way? Where does it all start? Does it start from here? Or is it what we might call grace? This radiation, this spiritual sunshine, as it were, that comes down from this immaterial, spiritual something, and as it were precipitates. As it comes down, first of all, becomes apparent as vapor, like clouds, rain, falling down into water, freezing into ice. The immaterial becoming material. The spirit gradually crystallizing into solidity. See how easy it is to just be aware of the world and also be aware of its spiritual origin. What comes first? This which is transitory, here today and gone tomorrow, or this which is eternal? The answer is self-evident, isn't it? So, who's most able, who is most effective in containing the world, in ordering the world? Is it me? Or is it this? Where does it all come from anyway? This whole miraculous lawfulness of cause and effect. And so I gradually came to recognize the work of prayer, that meditation became, for me, synonymous with the work of prayer. Into thy hands, O Lord. The last words, remember, of Jesus, into thy hands. Thy will, not mine, as we're told to pray. Thy will be done. All these things gradually began to make sense. Gosh, the penny dropped. This is what it means. This is why it's real. Our Father, which art in heaven, thy will be done. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. It's not just words, it's not just mumble jumbo, it's actually crystal clear, isn't it? And providence, you see, give us this day our daily bread. Providence, which is another old-fashioned word for God. The Lord will provide. It's all there in the scripture. It's becoming clear to us now. We're all actually partaking in this, aren't we now? You recognize it. You asked, dear, didn't you? I can remember your question about power, didn't you? Where is the power? Who is more powerful, me with my big muscles?
You've been doing press-ups this morning.
Or the latest engine. Or Almighty. Almighty. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. So isn't the greatest of all work, the most powerful, the most effective of all work, surrender of me into thy hands, O Lord? Isn't that the power of prayer? You know, as a young man, I was tormented really with this question of what can I do? What use am I in this world? What am I meant to be doing? How can I best help? Gradually I learned this work of prayer. I don't know how it works, my dear. But faith tells me, not knowledge, I don't know. But see, there's something higher. Worldly knowledge is here. Worldly knowledge isn't very big, really. Once you begin to get a glimpse of what's beyond, you realize that human knowledge is a creature of this world, a transitory thing, it's duality. Beyond knowledge is what we call faith, which is higher knowledge. And this is when you begin to recognize that, and recognize the reality of this indescribable something. Then it becomes ever more, first of all, easier, and then more obvious. And ultimately, there's really no choice. It becomes almost compulsive to keep referring to this.
John, you talk about cause and effect, and I think that's karmic law. And
Yes.
does that mean you were always going to do those 60,000 meditations? In some way I can relax. My meditations are already done. Because I think we have that culture of self-development, don't we? We expect, even in our meditation, for it to get better and better.
You see, this is what happens, Dave. It does get better and better, you see, because the less of me, the better it is. I'm afraid the very humbling and not at all easy great lesson we have to learn is that I am the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this very interesting little word, sin. Well, sin. Well, you know, people go on for hours, for ages about sin, but sin's actually, to my mind, as simple as anything. You know, if I look here, I'm in shadow, aren't I? I cast a shadow. If I look there, I'm in the light. Or to put it another way, you're either present in this presence, which doesn't mean to say I'm also not also in the world. I'm still talking, I'm still digesting my breakfast, aren't I? that are here. This is the priority. This is the primal reality. And to be absent, to forget it, you see, is sin. Absence from the presence of God, that's sin. Why are we not all in paradise? This is sin. This is, you know, it's just a fact. It's not something to worry about, but it's something to recognize that this is the human condition. And so we start turning towards the light, which is the meaning of the word repent, to turn back, turn in the right direction. And then it's not entirely our own doing, because you see, this presence has a magnetism of its own. God calls us. It's like a great big magnet up in the sky, which is meeting our little baby magnet of me, you know, with little baby steps trying to move in that direction. See, the love of God is magnetic. Love is attractive, isn't it? My little love, my little, you know, this young man in London, what do I most want? God. Well, you know, in a way it's almost laughable, isn't it? Well, perhaps not, but, you know, compared to the great big love of God calling his children home, a good shepherd looking out his lost sheep. But of course, to begin with, it all seems me. It's up to me to become enlightened, or you know, it's my effort. I must go here, there, and everywhere. No, I don't say it's laughable. Sorry, I forget that. It's not at all. Our own sincerity, of course, is what. Again, forgive me. I'm always I find. I like to quote scripture. I feel safe when I do that. Blessed are the pure in heart. That's what God wants of us, that sincerity, the pure heart. It's not knowledge, it's not cleverness. The pure in heart. Become like little children, reaching out for Daddy's hand.
One of the things that's always attracted me about your thing, and it's connected to David's question as well about was it all pretty predetermined that you were going to do those meditations by divine grace? One of the things I love is that you're someone who, because of being a misfit, perhaps, I don't know if that's fair to say, someone who didn't find it easy to fit in or socially comfortable and wanted to get away from people and wanted to have your own space. Whether that gave, what I love about that is that it's made you think for yourself. And do you think that that's a strength to finding this the third point, or is it just another confusion?
I don't know, Dave. How can I answer that question? I don't really know. It's mysterious, isn't it? Some people seem to find it easier than others. Some people have this motivation, some don't. I've got a sister, a big sister. She thinks I'm crazy.
Can I say though, John?
You know, I gave her a copy of my latest book that I was quite pleased with.
Every year you give her a copy of the book.
and I saw her last week, a few weeks ago, and she gave it back to me and said, I can't bear it.
Oh, really?
Oh, so hard. So hard, David.
That's what
Can't
sisters
bear
are
it.
for.
Can't be a prophet in your own land.
Can't be a prophet in your own town.
Sorry,
Can't be a prophet in your own town, right?
Yes.
exactly, yes. Yes, that's the old saying, isn't it?
My sisters think the same thing about me.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
Your own family.
My big sister.
My father never accepted. He used to talk of my mystical nonsense. Up to his dying day, that's when he thought of his son.
It's a great title for your next book.
But John, it was weird that you said, I didn't know that you tried to get into the priesthood 3 times, but here you are, being in a way a priest, a shepherd to souls like us. Your magnetism has drawn us to you for guidance. I mean, that's how I see it, and you are like a priest in that way, offering guidance.
Sweetest, first of all, I'm going to be cross with you, because it's not my magnetism, darling.
God's magnetism through you as a channel.
That's right. You see,
Yeah.
this is such an important point, you see. It really isn't me. It's such a difficult lesson to sink in, isn't it? It really, I don't know, this pride, it's me, I'm afraid we're with it up to our dying day. People say, how do you get rid of your ego? I don't think you can. I think by the mercy of God, we just grow out of it. Well, no, I wouldn't say we ever do grow out of it, but hopefully it gets less. I think that actually is another little point that may be helpful, that when I say I, or me, or mine, when my tongue involuntarily says I, me, mine, something within me, I now sort of, I wish I hadn't said that. Of course, I already have said it, it's too late. But so we may learn from our mistakes.
Yes, don't forget.
Yeah, there we are, goes again. So I try to beware of it. And actually I feel when somebody talks like, what did you say, my magnetism, something in me, now it shrinks.
I understand that.
I don't
understand
like
what
it
you're
now.
saying. But I mean, the fact remains that
I know that's how it appears to people. Yes, I know.
that you have drawn us, God has drawn us to you as a channel for this work that is helping to guide us. It's giving us.
Yeah.
How I feel, it's feeding. I feel as though it's feeding my soul. I can't do it now the third time, but it gives me something very important on my journey. And I'm very late to the party. I'm an old woman now, and I need a.
Sorry, dear, but I'm very late. What?
I'm late to the party in the sense that I feel as though I don't know how much time I've got left. I haven't got time for 45,000 meditations, you know.
You probably don't need them, dear. You know, we must be careful of. Again, it's so tempting to assess ourselves, isn't it? You know. God knows, dear. I think it's rather unhelpful to try to assess ourselves too closely. I know it's become very fashionable. We're all trying to figure out where we are on this ladder. Who is closer to God, dear? I think we're on very thin ice when we start talking like this.
Okay.
We don't know, dear.
But it does feel, I have to say, that it does feel like, oh, I wish I'd started this.
Well, that's your own. You see, that's one of the naughty things about your own ego, dear. Whenever you hear this repetitive gramophone record repeating in you, that's what it is. You're just holding on to this repetitive, I'm too late or something like that. I'm not good enough. I'm some way a failure.
Yeah.
Let's go, sweetie.
Okay. Because that is a record that has gone.
It is.
Failure.
I know, dear. It's just repetitive. It's just like a mechanical gramophone record. It's just repeating. We've all got them, dear. I've got a deep repetition. I'm lonely. I'm unwanted. Nobody wants me in this world. I'm a failure. Honestly, it seems I won't laugh at it because it's dead serious, dear. And I get it still. I still sink into it.
Do you think that's
And,
connected to
in my good moments, when I get closer to this, what I'm now got able to call the love of God, you know, if we really could understand, I'll start crying like you in a moment. If we really understood how much we are loved by this most merciful Father, and you know, He doesn't want. You know, I'm very soaked in Russia because I am half Russian, and there's nothing more esteemed in Russia than tears. They really honor tears, you know. And many Russian saints are known for their tears. Yes, tears wash the soul, darling, and there's nothing better in the spiritual life than tears, because that melts the heart. And when the heart is melted, you melt into what? You melt into this, don't you? You can never be closer to God than here and now. It's not in linear, it's not in time or space. You don't need years of meditation. It's here now instantly. The melted heart. Darling, you're right in the arms of God. Isn't it true? Isn't it true?
But still, I want to thank you for your decades of. I want to thank you for your decades of hard work. You know, because of you going through what you went through to come to this point of letting go of you. That is a lot of dedication and perseverance along the way to let go of you, and some of us we feel like. I just have to say, I think everyone's journey is unique.
Yes, everyone's unique, darling.
Yes.
Some very obstinate, stupid people like me may need 60 years of meditation here. Some pure, sweet souls like you may need only 10 seconds.
I don't know.
Neither do I. Neither do I. Let's surrender it. God knows. And I do not.
I think we're all crying now.
Crying.
I actually haven't been able to cry. My best friend committed suicide this year.
Oh.
And I've actually gone really hardened with it, you know. Like maybe being a dad, you've got to permit yourself to be in that vulnerable space. I don't know. I've got to bless his passing and be grateful for his passing, that he's at peace now. But crying is dried up for the moment, and I'm crying now, so thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I kept getting scripture words. The last shall be first. The first shall be
Last and the last first.
That's what I kept on repeat on my head.
Yes. So true.
It is comforting when you give. You say you keep referring to scriptural, but I find that so comforting when you do. It is. It's like balm to the soul, to the spirit.
further we're lost as well. Maybe the further we're lost sometimes, the clearer the remembering.
Yes, exactly, dear, absolutely. Yes. Yes, it's not those that have life easy that I think in many ways we grow through our suffering, don't we? I think those that have a so-called happy life seldom have a much motivation to find something better, dear. It's from a despair that we cry for help, cry to the Lord, God help me. Any more questions? You know, let me just tell you, when I first asked you that question, you see, you were in this blessed realm of no questions. You see, you were shining, you were just full of light. And now when I asked you that question, suddenly your eyes clouded over and you started thinking, now have I any more questions? You see what happened? You came back into this world, you see. Because that really is the answer. The answer to every question is that there's no question. And it's so simple, isn't it? Just to be present. Think of Jesus telling us to look at the lilies of the field, look at the flowers and the grass, look at a dog or any animal. They don't have questions, do they? Aren't they there? Aren't they present in the hands of God? Isn't everything? Who isn't? The only problem in this world is me. The first of sinners is me, and I create this problematic world around me.
I've got a lovely little song I want to sing. Can I sing a little song? It's not I forget who wrote this, but it's from about 1930s. People are queer, they're always crowing, scrambling and rushing about. Why don't they stop somewhere? They dress themselves this way. Why are we here? Where are we going? It's time that we found out. We're not here to stay, we're on a short holiday. Life is just a bowl of cherries. Don't take it serious, life's too mysterious. You work, you slave, you worry so, but you can't take it home when you go, go, go. So keep repeating it's the berries. The strongest folk must know, the strongest oak must fall. The sweet things in life to you were just loaned. So how can you lose what you never owned? So keep repeating it's the berries and live and laugh at it all.
Thank you for the songwriting. Thank you for your audition.
You know, Michael, of course that's unquestionable, isn't it? I personally, just speaking very much of my own personal reaction to that, and I think my misery, my sense of my own loneliness was so deep that other people's sort of cheer-up songs in a way accentuated my own loneliness. I couldn't bear it, really. My father was like that, it sort of was a cheer up, come on old chap, cheer up. It just made me feel, somehow, some of us have to struggle along the long path all our own, don't we?
Therapists call it attunement, don't they? Therapists call it attunement, so it's attuning to the person. If your dad's telling you to cheer up and you're in a different place, then
Yes.
he's not attuned to where you're at.
No,
he's
he's not.
missed you, hasn't he?
But he was doing his best, wasn't he?
Yes,
Same
yes,
as people
of
who
course.
write these songs are.
Yes.
They're doing their best, and for a lot of people it works, it does help them. It's enough. They listen and they go home feeling better. So we're all different, aren't we, in how we face life. Who knows, dear? I don't know. God knows. I do not. It's a mystery, isn't it? Jesus called the Spirit the Comforter, didn't he? The Comforter, I love that. Some people find comfort in this world. Well, many of us do to some degree, but ultimately, the Spirit.
I think also, John, you've taught me something on this trip that I really needed to learn, which is that it comes back to my own, I needed to see you in order to be very, very clear about the thing that I can really take away is mine already. And that, that I've got to go away and keep remembering that for myself. And you've given me so much with your words to help me, and your presence and your work to help me remind me of that. Me.
You haven't got to, Michael, you haven't got to do anything. There's absolutely no force. All these words like must and got are, this is humanity, this is man talking. You are invited, you're called. Love calls you, love never forces you. Love calls. Come unto me, says Jesus. Come. Come, my beloved. I'm waiting for you. Open arms. Come back to this silence, darlings. It's just inviting, isn't it? There's no force. It isn't compulsive in any way. Take it or leave it. It's just inviting you. Come. Come.
With a blasting of the horn. With a blasting of the horn. Come.
Right on cue, wasn't it?
That's the form it takes now.
Yes.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yes.
Okay, dears, well, we've had about 2 hours. That's quite a long session, isn't it? Anything else?
Just to say thank you for you and everyone, beautiful, just for to come and visit and get so much from it. And just thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for your time.
Well, we've got a lovely day ahead of us, and what I normally do is go for an afternoon walk. So, are you going now, Dave?
I might join you for a walk and still
Well,
probably
it'll be
enjoy
the
that.
same walk, the same boring walk, the same daily
You
routine.
can't stand in the same river twice, can
But
you?
anyway, if anybody wishes to join me for an afternoon walk, then we'll meet at my front door under the little porchway there at 1 o'clock. We'll walk and then we'll have evening meditation at usual time.
If it rains at the same time, John, I'll be suspicious.
God willing, we've got a decent day. Okay, dear.
Is that recorded, David? Or
Yeah, looks good.
yeah, great, great.
Watch it on.
Thank you, John.
Thanks very much. And if you can, it's you.